Welcome to Education Today on the Hill Country Network. My name is Chuck Garrett. Today my guest is Mr. Goode, Mr. David Goode, the Director of Northeast Mississippi Community College located in New Albany, Mississippi. Welcome, Mr. Goode. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
We appreciate you being here. A couple of questions just off the top. As a director of the Northeast, do we call it a satellite still?
Satellite campus.
As a director of the Northeast Satellite Campus, can you give us an idea of kind of what your responsibilities are, as well as your relationship with Mr. Ford and Northeast Community College in Boonville?
Well, we try to service the students here in the local Union County area.
All right.
We do anything from dual enrollment to seated classes, hybrid classes, different things like that here locally in New Albany. I tell each of the classes that that I talk with before each class begins that before they make a trip to Boonville, stop by and we'll see what we can do in order to keep you or save you a trip from heading over to Boonville.
Yeah.
So we pretty much can do anything that they can do on our campus in Boonville here in our local campus in New Albany.
Can a student be a full-time student in New Albany at the satellite?
They can. We offer a general studies program study that you can get everything you need right here locally in New Albany.
Well, that sounds great.
Saves a lot of folks gas money and things like that, but I don't think a lot of folks actually know that they can do that here locally, but we actually can.
Now, if they're a full-time student, do they have the rights and privileges like going to the football games and that kind of stuff?
Yes,
they
sir.
do?
Yes, sir. Just like a regular student on our main campus in Boonville.
That's a great deal. That's a great deal. Well, tell us more about your relationship with, the Boonville campus.
Well, we have a lot of support from our campus in Boonville. We try to do what we can here locally, but we always have questions as far as financial aid. We have questions concerning the different type classes that you need for a program. I have a full-time counselor here in New Albany that's able to help us out as far as counseling students for whatever program of study that they're looking for. We get questions about exams and things like that, so we're able to handle most everything here in New Albany.
Well, that's great. I also noticed that you're the director of WIOA.
Correct.
What is WIOA and how does that fit into your overall mission?
I started out at Northeast as a career coach for WIOA, which is Workforce Investment and Opportunity Act.
Okay.
And we have funding available to help students who may not have a Pell Grant, may have overmaxed their hours for their Pell Grant. And we have some funds available for short-term training. We have funds available for training for school, just to be able to help those folks out.
Okay, so you said career coach.
Yes.
And now we got 14 high schools who all have career coaches.
Right.
Is that a little bit, are they doing things that coordinate with you guys a little bit or that are similar to what you did?
They do. We actually work with folks that are out of high school that are either looking to get a step up on a job that they already have,
okay,
or just looking for training to provide them with a meaningful wage after they have maybe gotten out of school, maybe dropped out or whatever. We're just able to help them out.
Okay.
With short-term training.
All right, well, let's back up just a little bit.
All right.
And start with kind of the start. Can you give me a little idea about, your education, training, and all that kind of thing, and the preparation for this?
Well, I was born and raised in New Albany. Graduated from W.P. Daniel High School. Ended up at Northeast for 2 years. Played football there at Northeast. Graduated from Northeast and ended up at University of Mississippi in Oxford. Finished there in December of 1986.
Okay.
So been worked at the hospital at Tupelo for about 16 years after graduated from the school, and have been here at Northeast going on 10 years now.
Okay. You played football at Northeast. What position?
Football.
I have to ask. I know what your son would play.
Played tight end.
Okay.
So.
All right. So. And
about 165 pounds.
Big tight end, yeah. Yeah, you must have been a hellacious blocker.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
At the hospital in Tupelo,
Yes.
kind of what were your responsibilities there?
I was actually the manager of the collections for the
Okay.
hospital. So
That was I'm sure people really enjoyed talking with you.
they did, yes.
Okay, so you kind of got used to working with the public a little bit.
Correct, yeah. We I was there for, like I say, for 16 years. We had a staff of about 16 folks that worked there for me in Tupelo, and enjoyed my time there, but and really enjoying myself working with students here in the Northeast.
Well, and I've had some personal opportunities to work with you through my kids and other students, and we really appreciate what this campus brings to the table for all of our citizens.
Appreciate it.
We talked a little bit earlier, and I want to bring this up real quick. You're also one of the three voices of New Albany radio football on radio.
Right. WNAU 1470.
1470.
Yes, sir.
How long you been doing that?
About 7 years now.
No.
Keith Conley and Kirk Saul and I are there every Friday night.
Well, I know, Kurt was the first of the three of you guys to be doing this kind of
He
thing?
was. Kirk, I'm not sure exactly how long he's been doing it, but he's been doing it quite a while.
And then, that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. We usually do a little pregame show on Thursday with the coach and kind of get ideas for what's to expect on Friday night, and then enjoy our time Friday night. It's good watching these kids develop, and I got a good coaching staff here, so we're excited about it.
Well, it's really, the community is very fortunate to have people that'll give their time, because I know your students graduated, probably your youngest 4, 5, 6 years ago,
That's exactly right.
and you're still involved and you're still being a part, and I think that says a lot for our community.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. It's fun. We enjoy our time, and I think it's a service for our community. We have a lot of folks that listen to us on the radio. We have folks listen all over the country. We do live streaming, so it's interesting to see where your folks are listening to you from each and every Friday night.
I have been way out of town and been able to pick up some of that streaming and have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into some of the programs at Northeast New Albany. One of the things I've heard you discuss a little bit is Smart Start. Can you give our viewers a little bit of an idea what Smart Start is?
Smart Start is kind of the catalyst to start any of our adult education programs in Northeast New Albany. It's a 4-week class taught by Mr. Chad Nolan. And we also have a night class that's taught by Miss Jill Buchanan. I'll get into a little bit more detail about those as far as the timing and everything on that. But it basically is a start to where you can kind of come in. It's at no cost to the student. They learn some essential career preparation for different things like customer service training, resume writing, job interview skills, and things like that. So it's kind of the catalyst to kind of get everything started for any of our adult ed type programs that you have.
Now, adult ed, is that credit or non-credit?
Non-credit.
So non-credit. So your clientele, folks 20 to 40 or something that are looking to try to get into a career, and y'all kind of help them get started?
Actually, our adult ed starts at age 16.
Oh, okay.
Goes from 16 up. So from 16 to whatever age, if someone maybe dropped out, maybe went into the workforce and was looking to get back into some type of training, or for a degree, or for
certification,
some
something
type of
like
certification,
that.
or to do for a better job that they may already have.
All right. Well, that sounds great. You also work with the high school equivalency kinds of things?
We do. We've got classes that are from 8 to 12 on Monday through Thursday. We have classes from 1 to 4 Monday through Thursday, and we have night classes on Tuesday and Thursday from 5 to 8.
So
those are taught by Miss Shanna Cole. So if you've got any,
a lot of availability.
it is a lot of availability, and we try to work around what's best for our clientele that's coming in for a different type of training needs that they may have.
Can you talk a little bit about how the GED preparation works and all this kind of thing? Or in other words, if a person didn't graduate from high school,
Right.
and now they've decided they need to attain some kind of equivalency, and they come to your office.
Right.
What's the process?
First, they'll talk to Mr. Chad Nolan about the Smart Start, get them through that 4-week program there. They'll also take some testing to kind of see where they are in the process.
Okay.
Depending on when they might have dropped out of school or what skill set they already have. So it's kind of a self-paced type program once they get involved in it. But it can be as long as a year. It could be as short a period of time as a couple of months in order to get that high school equivalency. For good attendance, we also pay for their testing. The GED or the high set test has gotten to be over $100, so we also offer some assistance on paying for that. Most of these are fully scholarship, don't cost anybody anything as far as coming in, being able to get the training or the education that they need.
Okay, so the students come in and they deal with a high school equivalency,
Right.
and let's say they've completed it, they've done the Smart Start kind of thing.
Right.
And I noticed I know we have a Pathways program.
Right.
Does that kind of fit into that or
It
feed
does.
into that?
It does. We try to guide our students, depending on their needs and what they want to do. We have some career pathways, a couple of different pathway offers that we have. We have a medical or a computer type classes that are available. They're free as well, or they're fully scholarship.
Okay.
Those are done through some teachers that we have that are coming in at night. Usually do those on Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, just like a college type course. But they can get some additional training, can kind of go to work in an office setting, or they can get some type of computer training to be able to do some computer type work as well.
All right, do some of these students who come through the GED go into regular, try to get a 2-year degree or try to go a 4-year degree?
Right.
Is that another pathway?
We have actually seen a lot of those here in the last couple of years that are transitioning from the adult ed side through our GED program, through our high school equivalency program, walking over to a 2-year degree at Northeast. We've seen a lot more of that in the last couple of years. So, yeah, we've got that option available as well if they want to come through.
Several years ago, when I was a principal, I had a guidance counselor, and her husband had become a medical doctor after taking the GED
Right.
and working through that process.
Right.
And that's a tremendous opportunity.
It is, and it all depends on the limitation of the student. Whatever the needs are that they have or the wants that they have, we have everything available for them. Just got to get them started, get them on that pathway.
Okay. I know that y'all have some welding programs, and can you tell me a little bit about those, and then maybe when they're completed, where they might go to work?
I can. We actually have got a welding class coming up on September the 30th. It's about a 12-week program. Stephen Ewing is our instructor. A lot of these folks are folks that have already been out into the workforce, looking for a different career path or career choice. They come in, we start them up day one. Safety is a big deal that we deal with.
That.
We deal with several different types of welding, MIG, TIG, stick, there's flux core, different types of welding. And don't give me
I was going to say,
tell you a whole lot about
if I just went blank, you'll understand. I have no idea what you just said.
Well, they get all those type of trainings, and those are needed when you go to work.
Okay.
And once you finish up the 12-week program, like I say, it's a fully scholarship as well. It doesn't have a cost associated with it. It's
Man,
fully
that is amazing.
They can go to work. We have some companies in Oxford that are looking for welders. We have folks in Holly Springs that are looking for welders. We've had some folks in Blue Springs that are looking for welders. But we've also had some interest from our training program from Ingalls Shipyard on the coast. So they're hiring a lot of different folks to come in and do that. Not a prerequisite to have a GED for that, but just to be able to learn and to come in and we'll train you up.
When you started talking about that, I could picture a few people that I might want to refer for that.
Right.
Can you give me an idea of, it was 12 weeks, time of day, number of hours, all that kind of thing?
It's 12 weeks. We start at 7 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, 7 to 3. So actually, our next enrollment, our class will actually start on September the 30th.
So these are people that either work at night or...
Some of them are working at night, some of them are not working at all and coming to our class.
Because 7 to 3 would pretty much preclude somebody that had an 8 to 5 kind of job of some sort. Okay, so that's pretty much 8 hours a day for 12 weeks.
Correct. But once you finish up, you are certified. Several different certifications that they'll get while they're in their class doing their coursework.
Now, are those usually pretty well attended, or?
We've got a mobile welding lab that's got 7 units in it that we utilize to train in, so we can do up to 14 at one time without being too overcrowded.
Okay.
Out of our last couple of classes that we've had, 100% of the folks that have completed have found jobs.
100%.
Hard to beat 100%.
That's a good number. That's a good number. I know you do some robotics there at the SAC. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Just started a robotics program. I talked with instructor, Mr. Kyle Carpenter, before I left and came over here. Finished up last week with our first rotation of that. We had 7 candidates that were there. All of those are finished up, passed those. We started having some local industry that was interested in some robotics type training. So we bought some robotic equipment and went out to the businesses and said, hey, we got everything ready to go. Send us some of your employees to kind of give us a first run to see, if this training is what you're needing or what your folks are needing in your industry. We had some good response from some of our local industry. I know Ashley Furniture is one that's looking for some of our robotics training.
Are they trying to get, they're not known to have a lot of robotics. Are they trying to get more into that kind of thing?
They are. That was kind of the reason we started the program, is because a lot of the furniture industry was going to be changing over to some robotics. Right. Metal Impact is another one of our local employers that was needing some training for some local folks.
I know it's not likely, but can you give me an idea of the type jobs they're wanting those robots to do, or is that still kind of in flux?
Well, there's a couple of different things we're training folks on. We're doing them on actually programming the robots and also on the maintenance side to be able to maintain the robots once they're up and running. So you can kind of come. We're doing the class Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They meet from 8 till noon, and it's about a 4-week program, and you get both of those, the maintenance and the
programming?
And the programming as well.
Now, so far, everything we've talked about has been non-credit, right?
Correct.
All right, just want to make sure, because in a minute we're going to go to the credit end of that. But I'm thinking this our next topic is probably non-credit, production technician.
Production technician.
What can you describe that program?
Well,
there's a lot of new programs at Northeast, so I wanted to give him a chance to talk about these things.
Mr. John Garner is our instructor for our production technician. We do things like hydraulics, pneumatics, PLCs, electrical type training. That's kind of a self-paced class as well. We have anywhere from 5 to 10 students at a time that are going through those. They can be at different places along the way. We have some folks that are working night shift that are coming in to those type of classes. We have others that are not working but are coming to us during the daytime for those type classes. Most of the classes are done anywhere from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon.
Okay. Is this a fairly new program, or have we had it a little while?
We've had the industrial maintenance type training for probably about a year now. We've had a couple of different instructors that have come in, but John Garner is heading that up for us currently.
Have you had enough people complete it? Like in welding, you said that you could kind of had some ideas about where the jobs were locally as well as on the coast.
Right.
Have we had enough completers to have an idea where they will end up going to work or might go to work?
The majority of the ones that are coming in are actually employed locally and are looking to take that next step up to another level at their particular employer. We have, like I say, folks that have already been trained, maybe have not got any certification.
Okay.
We can give them that certification. We do OSHA 10. We do several different other things with our electrical and PLCs, pneumatics, hydraulics, and things like that. So can get them that certification, actually get them a better job at their local company that they're working for now.
This question is kind of coming out of the blue, but I just kind of, I mean, a lot of what you're doing fits in with a lot of what the K-12 is trying to do for credit to help students graduate and get ready to go to the next place. Is there any coordination at this point between you guys and New Albany and Union County, or is that still kind of a little ways off?
We work with Miss Susie Bowman, and David as well on certain folks that come in. What we're able to provide is just that next step. They can kind of get the fundamentals there at the high school through some of the programs that they have, and we can kind of get that next step a little bit higher of a certification to be able to put something to build a resume.
Okay. All right. I know they can get a career readiness certificate there. I know you work with Work Keys. Can you describe those programs a little bit?
We do. The career readiness certification is a nationally known certification for our employers. It's basically a testing that's done, it's put out by the folks that do the ACT, and just kind of gives us a glimpse into what a person takes the test, what level of job they may be able to handle. It's graded on a bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Anyone who makes a platinum can do probably 99% of the jobs in the state of Mississippi. Gold, they can do about 93% of the jobs in Mississippi.
Okay.
So it just depending on where they are on that can kind of tell what level of skill that they have.
And what's the cost to take the Work Keys?
First time taking the Work Keys, it's free. There's no cost available to that. We have a lot of folks that are coming in for teacher's assistant. We have a lot of our fire department. Whenever they hire new folks, they're required to have the CRC testing as part of their application process. Then we have a lot of students that are in our high school equivalency that are also taking the CRC just to have that certification as part of the package that we offer through.
At one point, we were doing some testing through the Wellspring program. Is that still happening a little bit? I know a lot of other people have started paying for it, so I know our intent was if everybody else starts paying for it, we'll back off. Is that?
As far as I know, that they are still testing all of the juniors, and it may be through the career tech side of the high school.
Okay. All right. What's Job Pass?
Job Pass is, we've got the CRC, which is the mental. The Job Pass is more for the physical type training. We have a lot of employers that come in and say that we're having trouble with hiring different folks, may have issues with backs or maybe have some carpal tunnel type issues. These are some time tests that we kind of show if there's any limitations for the employee on those.
Okay.
So kind of helps out an employer to say, we have an employee that comes, or a potential employee that comes in and says, hey, I can do that job, Well, we can actually do some physical activities and prove whether they can or whether they can't.
Okay. Very good. Now, I think that brings to a conclusion most of our non-credit kind of thing. And I'm glad we spent a good bit of time on it because it's very relevant for a lot of people, and it's also a lot of times people aren't aware of it.
Right, exactly. I still have folks that come up and say, I didn't even know we had a Northeast branch here in New Albany. So,
which that's amazing.
It is amazing.
It is.
We've been a part presence here in New Albany for quite some time, so maybe that's my fault. So.
Well, now we get to kind of the dual enrollment. I know you got an LPN program, and if you could also, what percent of the students maybe transition to maybe Boonville or to Ole Miss, Mississippi State, or a four-year school of some type? Can you give us just a picture of that?
We have a lot of different options and things available for students here in New Albany. The big thing that we kind of have going on right now is some of our dual enroll. Dual enroll student can actually be at their local high school, get credit for their high school English or math, and also get college credit for that as well at the same time. So they don't have to travel anywhere. We have a lot of students that are coming to Northeast once they get out of high school. We have a tuition deferment. We have that where if a student decides that they're coming to Northeast once they finish up their high school, they can get a 25% reduction on their dual enrollment classes per semester that they are at Northeast, and for 4 semesters, the dual enrollment won't cost the student anything. We have seated classes here in New Albany. We offer anything from English to history, math, sociology, psychology, biology, A&P. So we have several different things available here in New Albany. We have classes also that we're doing partially online with our other satellite campus in Corinth and our campus in Boonville as well. So we may have an instructor that's here in New Albany. We have students from Corinth and Boonville joining in as well. We have also hybrid type classes where it's partially online, partially in the classroom. Classes mostly here in New Albany are at night, starting at 4 o'clock. They'll run from 4 all the way till 9 o'clock. So there's usually someone on campus here in New Albany from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. We have a lot of students, we mentioned earlier, that are transitioning from our high school equivalency into our college 2-year program. We also have a lot of folks that are taking classes that are going to transition from Northeast to either Mississippi State or Ole Miss. Don't really have a lot of numbers on that as far as the number of folks that are doing that, but we have a good number of those that do that. We also have another good number of folks that once they get started, they want to continue and do as much training as they can and get as much education as they can. So you mentioned someone earlier that gotten their PhD and they've been through the GED program.
Right.
So we just encourage them to do whatever it is that they want to do, and try to be someone there to help them, guide them to the process of what they need to do.
Now, I know you've got an LPN program.
We do have an LPN program. We have 12 spots at our LPN program here in New Albany. Brad Sloan is one of our instructors here in New Albany. We also have 24 spots on our campus in Boonville, so we've got about a third of the students that are graduating from our LPN. It's a year-long program. The application that you have to turn in is due by May the 1st, and once you finish that up, there's a selection process that goes through in order to get those students into the program, and then it's an August through August 1-year certification.
Do those students typically go right into the workforce, or do they oftentimes then pursue becoming a nurse or whatever, that kind of thing?
Majority of the students go straight into the workforce,
Right.
working as an LPN. We do have a bridge program also for our RN program where they can just roll over and go into the RN. There's some testing that has to be done, but then there's another year of training that allows them to be an RN as well.
All right, so let's say, and now we're getting into the 4-year stuff.
Okay.
So let's say that a parent wants to know, they've got a student who just graduated from high school. They'd like them to get as much as they can at the satellite in New Albany to prepare them to go to a 4-year school, whatever it might be. And I noticed when you were saying English, math, science, social studies, a lot of that core stuff that everybody takes, I heard you say.
Right.
Can you give me an idea how close they can come to completing a freshman and a sophomore year that puts them in a position to just transfer straight from the satellite?
They can get 100% of the classes that they need. We may not offer them all on or in the classroom, but we can get some of the classes online.
Okay.
In order for them to get a general studies, which is going to be all of your core type courses, which would be your histories and your English and your math, your humanities and sciences. We can get all of those here in New Albany. So they can get everything they need for a 2-year program right here in New Albany.
And after they do that, they will graduate with folks in Boonville?
Yes.
And the entire time they were doing it, they had all the rights and privileges of
Correct.
students and all the rest of that kind of
We
thing.
also have a fitness center on campus in Boonville. They can be a part of that as
Be
well.
a part of that as well.
That's right.
Well, we're about out of time, and I was wondering if you just wanted, if you had anything you'd like to share with our viewers about Northeast in New Albany.
Well, one, that we're there. We're there to kind of help out,
Yep.
do whatever we can to help your student out. We've got folks, like I say, I've got a counselor that's there, Ms. Liz Ketchum. She can work with you on pretty much anything, any kind of questions you may have. I've got the GED program there as well, where you can work on getting those qualifications or those certifications. We've got the welding program. We've got the robotics program. We've got something for everybody. Just kind
Right.
of come by and talk to us. We can be reached at 662-692-1508. We're there Monday through Thursday from 8 until 4, and on Friday from 8 to noon.
And I can tell you from experience, Mr. Goode is easy to get a hold of. You call there, and they'll put you in touch with him. And if you have, if it's something he needs to handle, he will. And if he doesn't, he'll get you to the right person. And I appreciate you having helped us before.
Appreciate it.
One thing I do want to say to all the taxpayers out there is this is a great example of two public entities working together on benefit of the taxpayers, because Northeast New Albany is located in the old Mattie Thompson Elementary School. And I know a lot of people like to go by there and just see that school, and most of it is still there. There was some renovation that caused it to be, it's been modernized and all this kind of thing, but some of the original is also still there and just in a renovated state. So I think being able to use that facility, I think that was good for the community. I think it was good for the taxpayers,
Right.
and now it's good for the students, so everybody won.
Right. I think you're exactly right.
So, Mr. Goode, I appreciate you being
Yes,
here with
sir.
us. And for David Goode and Hill Country Network, this is Chuck Garrett saying thank you for joining us.